If you don't think spreadsheets are complicated and complex, then you might not be using them correctly. Or rather, you might not be unleashing all of the power of spreadsheets. If you still think that spreadsheets are merely just cells that you put information into, you might not be using the entire power of spreadsheets. I walked through in this video 5 different ways to explain spreadsheets, from almost nothing to the most complex thing, which is AppScript. Come with me and enjoy this ride. 5 increasingly difficult ways of explaining spreadsheets.
A spreadsheet is a series of rows and columns that are demarked by their row number and their column name, which is A, B, C, D. These are still also column 1, column 2. You can put text into any cell by double-clicking on it. You can put some text here. You can also copy and paste that text anywhere you want. And what happens is that you have a relation between everything on a row and everything in a column. So you can actually move the entire column over, or move an entire row by clicking and dragging on that row. If the cursor changes to a hand, you can move it. You can also create tables with text. You can have headers. What's interesting about a spreadsheet from Google Sheets, you can create one by just going to sheet.new, and you create a brand new spreadsheet that's blank, that has 1 tab, 1,000 rows, and 26 columns. Now back to our table, if we put text in here, we see that our relation of the first one is this text, second this text, third this text. The text can go beyond just words. You can actually also put in numbers, and you can format these numbers, which brings us to our second level of difficulty, menu items. So as you start to create some tables and you put in numbers such as 67 or 28, and maybe you want to make this revenue or money you get, you can select this format as currency. But there are much more options for you in these menus above and in these quick select buttons here. You can change the text from default Arial to maybe Black on Sans. And you can change the size of the text. Let's triple that size to 30. Now you see we have hard to read text here. We make the row bigger. We can also right click on that row and resize the row to a specific number instead of fitting to data. So we can actually make this 100 pixels high. We can make this one as well. If we select a row and click the shift button or hold it down, we can select more than one row. We can right click and we can resize both of those rows at the same time. We can give them both a pixel height of 100. We can do the same with columns. So right click, shift, select, right click, resize columns, and we can resize them to any column size we want. We can also double click on the gap between rows, and it'll automatically fit the row height to the data you already have in there. If you have nothing inside of the row or column, it will do nothing. But if we have, say, 1 and 2 here, we double click and it goes to the minimum size that it can be. Our menu items also allow us to do alignment of text inside of cells, wrapping if you get too much text inside of a cell. You can also rotate up and down, and all of these amazing menu items are available to you with just a few clicks. Next, we can do math inside of spreadsheets. Just double click on a cell, start with an equal sign, and do 1 plus 0 here. We can do as well here, equals 1 plus 1. We can do equals 1 plus 2. And you see we're already pre-formatted. The format stayed the same from our previous format, so we can change that format back to plain text. Or we can change it to a number, and it adds 0.00 to it. Again, our menu helps us here where we can decrease our decimal place. You can do all sorts of math in here. You can do multiplies with the asterisk, 5 times 5. You can also do equals 5 to the power of 5. We can also do math inside of cells with words, but it's not exactly as you think, not with the plus sign. We can say something like math is amazing with a space here within the quotes in the middle, but plus sign is not going to work. We need to use an and symbol or ampersand. The most interesting thing too with spreadsheets, and the power of spreadsheets in math is that we can reference other cells. So instead of typing the word math here, I can delete that and type in B3. B3 is reference of the cell that is on the B column and is in the third row. And so this changes based on what I put in the B3. So if I say history here, this D3 will update automatically, and that's the power of spreadsheets. But what might be difficult is coming up with your own formulas and functions, which Google Sheets has some built-in formulas and functions that we can use directly. And it is all based on having the equal sign show up. So instead of doing something like this where we say equals D1 plus D2 plus D3, we would get 7 there. We can bring up a formula which allows us to do sum of D1, and here we can reference single cells or arrays of cells or groups of cells that are in either one column or one row. We use the colon sign to delineate that it is an array. So we can do D1 colon D3. And here we get the sum. We've added up all of these numbers. We can also do many other formulas. In fact, there are over 400 formulas in Google Sheets already pre-created for you. Here's a list of Google Sheets function lists. These are all of the formulas that are available just by typing in equals and then referencing what the name of the formula is. There's a lot of them. A lot of them you don't use. Some of my favorite are sum, average. So we can take the average of that array. We can also take the min and find the minimum number in a range, or a maximum number with max. If you know all the formulas and all the functions, you've done all the math, you've done all the menus, you know all the menu options, there is one more thing that is available to us, and that's AppScript. AppScript allows us to create our own custom functions inside of Google Sheets. Go up to extensions, AppScript. Here inside of AppScript, we can name and create our very own functions, such as add 5. And in add 5, we'll take something inside of this parentheses, like a number, and in the brackets we'll do something to it, and then we'll return something else, which will return added 5. We're going to use variables to do this. Number plus 5, variable, added 5, equals. So here we've taken a variable, added 5, we take the variable number that we put into our formula, we add 5, and then we return added 5. So let's Command S, this orange button on the left side tells us we have not saved our project. So we save our project, and now AppScript is available to us here. And now we can use our function add 5 with a number inside of our sheet. So we go to our D1, and we want to add 5 to what's in C1. So we go equals add 5. In parentheses, we go C1, which we're referencing that other cell. Now it's going to give us a little bit of a red warning here, but we've already created this. Just hit enter. And there we go, we get 6. Now we can copy and paste that same exact formula. Because we're referencing C1, it's going to change as we copy and paste it. It's taking whatever is in C1 here, adding 5, whatever is in C2, adding 5, whatever is in C3, adding 5. And now we've created our very own function inside of Google Sheet.
Now that you've had a little taste of AppScript, check out this much longer, much more interesting video where I go into how I turned one line of script into $75,000. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn something even deeper about AppScript and you'd start to love Google Sheets just like I do. Thank you for watching.
Don't make any sheets, make better sheets.